Okay, tired of creating basic text editor in Flutter? So here is actually a very nice plugin which I got on ChatGPT. So one thing about ChatGPT that most developers are complaining about is that it doesn't give you the correct code. One thing about me is that I don't totally depend on it. Depend on it in terms of like it helping me create new ideas and seeing how I can actually improve myself, right? So I don't totally depend on the code base here, right? But as you can see, I actually asked ChatGPT for a text editor, right? And I didn't want something that was basic. So yeah, here is a plugin Flutter Quillin. Oh, is it Q? Whatever. Let's just continue. So as you can see, we have the version ChatGPT gave me was 6.0.0, right? And at the same time, it gave me few codes. But one thing about it, any developer knows this. If you get a code on this guy, it probably wouldn't work, especially if the versions are far off from each other. So here, the current version is actually 9.3.21. So I scrolled down, went through the code base, and at the same time, I tested this code base out, and it was not working still. So I realized that the documentation has not actually been updated for a while now, and that's kind of bad. So you just have to like try doing it yourself and try figuring out which is which. So at first I had issues making use of this, because if you guys look at this, you have the toolbar and you have the text editor. The toolbar is meant to represent something like this, something on top like this, and the text editor is meant to represent, you know what text editor is already. So here we'll be creating something similar to let's say Google Docs or Microsoft Word. So one of the things that I looked at when I checked ChatGPT code is that it's really outdated, and it's not even looking close to what the official documentation has. But that's the thing. Even with that, there were like tons of issues with this. I mean, so let me bring up my code base. So here we're actually trying to build kind of like a blog website with Flutter. A blog website whereby you can actually do almost anything. It's basically similar to Facebook. So scrolling down. So if you guys take a look at this, you have something called Qt provider, and you then have the toolbar and the editor. This is something that I had to figure out on my own. While I was getting errors, I was able to debug and know actually how to do this properly. Come in, let me bring this down a little bit. So when we're talking about the Qt provider, right? The provider, you can see that as an engine, something that would actually launch the plugin, that will launch the editor to make sure everything is working properly. So here we have the parent provider. This guy is needed. Without it, nothing would actually work, and you will end up with a red and white error screen. So the next thing we have is the configuration. We have the controller. Every Flutter developer understands what that does, right? And then we have the child. So I'm basically nesting the Q toolbar and the editor inside of its provider. I can actually put it outside. If you put it outside, it leads to issues. So in order to avoid that, generally you just have to put it inside it. So we then have our toolbar, and then we have our editor.basic. I'm basically making use of the basic version as of now, and I said that, as you can see, we have some scroll controller. So let me show you the results. So as you can see, we have the cancel blog and the create blog. So let's click on create. So when we click on create, if we scroll down a bit, as you can see, we have our editor right here. So we could actually So as you guys can see, it actually accepted the text, as you guys can see there. So we could actually play around with all these things that are on top. So let's try playing around with this. Let me see if I can use my control A. Wow, I can actually use my keyboard to actually control the screen. So as you can see, we have a normal text here, and we can actually change the styling. We can use header 1. As you can see, it got bigger. Header 2, header 3. So the higher we go, the lower the smaller the text gets. So let's make it header 1, and then let's come here and see the options of style. We have the fonts. We have limited font style, which I think this is actually okay for what we want to do. So let's choose monospace. As you can see, monospace actually shine through. I actually like the way it looks, but let's make it smaller, right? So as you can see, that actually works fine. We can actually still make use of our font size. We can make use of our bold. As you can see, it's got bolding. We can make it into a bulletin if you want to. If you want to make it into a numbered list, you can actually do that also. Honestly, this plugin is just everything. You can actually create a checkbox in order to check a list of things. Yeah, as you can see, that actually works. I actually thought that wouldn't actually work, but it's nice to see that that actually works. And whatever you want to do. So next time when you want to create a basic, let's say a nice text editor in Flutter, always remember Flutter Quillin. And I feel like this guy just offer some extensive customization when it comes to the text editor in Flutter. Hope you guys check it out. Thanks, bye.